Well, hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us here on the ice. Happy New Year. Happy 2021 to everybody. Just a quick message to everybody to say thank you for joining us here on Amateur Sports TV. It's been 5 years of tremendous action and excitement, over 1,400 live telecasts and countless hours of recorded material your way on all of our social media platforms. I want to thank you very much for joining us. The future is bright, the future is ongoing, and it's going to be a great start for us here in 2021. As for many other hockey and sports starting up here, we hope to see in this coming year. Joining me is Kevin McCallum of the Kam River Fighting Walleye. Never say Thunder Bay or else they'll be very upset with you. Kam River Fighting Walleye of the SIJHL. He's going to come and join me today. And we're going to talk about the beginning of their season as an inaugural team in the SI, as well as some of the trials and tribulations they've had to face. So please join me in thanking Kevin McCallum for taking some time on his busy day as he joins us here on the ice.
Awesome. Thanks for having me. Always a pleasure to be here, Theo.
Kevin, Happy New Year. Great to see you, man. How are things going?
Good. Happy New Year. Like the rest of the world, right? We're nobody knows. You know, you're one of those guys that everyone's asking you questions and they figure you should know. So it's been it's tough, right? So you know, I know as much as the next guy. I know as much as the coffee hockey club at Tim Hortons right now in regards to what's going on. But
how is that coffee crew at Robinson? Are they getting ready for NHL action to start up here and some rumors and trade deadlines already?
Well, they love having two junior teams now in Thunder Bay, and it's nice when you walk in and some of the guys are divided at the table. And some are Kam River fans, some are Thunder Bay fans. So it's neat when you walk into places and people are talking about it. And what's neat about us having fans, we're not been allowed to have fans, but we got a huge fan base, so it's been great. So
that's awesome, Kevin. Tell me again your position with the Walleye and how it's been here for the fall of the 2020 with the startup in the inaugural year.
Well, I'm the general manager. You know, we have a really good ownership group with Derek Geddes, Brad Collins, Colin Campbell, Ian Stahl. You know, and they've kind of entrusted me to build a program, build a team, and who, you know, I've been a part of a couple expansion programs before, but never during a global pandemic when you're not allowed fans. You know, and you're, you know, you play 14-day set, you play, or you don't play at all. So it's no one has a roadmap for this, right? So it's tough with down for a billet coordinator, billets, families. It's the questions that we get. A lot of times we don't have answers. So, you know, I can answer you questions about being a young franchise and that, but I can't answer you for playing tomorrow or what the case may be, right? So all we do, our coaching staff does a really good job, and our assistant general manager, Brian Smeltzer, we get the rules laid out by us by the SIJHL, Hockey Canada, the CJHL, HNO. We just follow the best, and that's all we do. We put ourselves in a position to be able to play and continue moving forward. You know, and it's tough. It's tough navigating this, and people ask, do you get upset? Are you worried? At the end of the day, it's out of my control. We do our best to prepare to play. If we can't play, we can't play. Our guys have been amazing through this. I couldn't imagine being 18, 19. You know, we're prepping next week to play the Dryden Ice Dogs, a battle of first place in this league right now, and we get pushed back 2 more weeks, right? So I feel for the guys, not just our guys, all the kids in the league, all the kids across Canada. You know, the NCAA and ACHA programs that aren't playing right now, Major Junior that's not playing. It's a tough time. So,
Kevin, you said you were able to put the team together. Has the team been in Kam River and the surrounding area this entire time, preparing and hoping to see hockey return in the near future?
Well, we were obviously able to have our 4 exhibition games against Thunder Bay and then our 4 regular season games against Thunder Bay, and then we took an extended break. Our guys were required to be back by the 28th of December, with our team doctor setting up COVID testing on the 29th. Then we had quarantine protocol for players from out of the region. So if a kid came, one of our local kids from Dryden came back to Thunder Bay and he was kind of remained in his bubble, he was okay. His billets would take him back. But if you were from Calgary, you had to come back. quarantine, stay in a hotel at one of our sponsors. So it something I've never navigated before, right? Our sponsors, they've been absolutely great. The Hampton Inn here in Thunder Bay and Telstar Motel in Quebec. They really took in our guys. Our billets have been understanding, and so now we're all chomping at the bit. We have 25 players sitting here asking if we can go to the outdoor rinks. Can we practice there? Can we do this? Can you get a key and sneak us into our arena? So I'm getting all the questions. So
from a billet standpoint, Kevin, how was that the opportunity to build those relationships with the players, considering everything that's going on? Was it a little more tentative? Was it a lot more different questions that you were maybe not aware of? How was that relationship building between, I guess, the player and the billet, but also the billet program and the hockey team?
Well, that was, one of our biggest concerns coming in doing this was billets, right? We assumed with Thunder Bay locking up a lot of the local guys, we were going to have to bring in 15, 16 players. So if we can't get 15, 16 billets, we're not going to survive. Our billet coordinator, Claire Jones, she's done an unbelievable job. Getting people the questions, we get a lot of interest. Say we get 10 families that are interested after someone in the house may be vulnerable sector for COVID, so they say no. But out of those 10, we get 2. You know what I mean? And we've kind of built up over the time. Another one that I've started to see is, which is really neat, getting pictures of our billets doing online schooling with their billet brothers and sisters now, allowing mom and dad to go out to work. And so the relationship has kind of morphed a little bit because these guys are now home for 2 straight weeks, where before we'd practice, we'd be at the rink, we'd have our workouts, we'd be on the road, you know what I mean? So the time would be limited. Now they're, 2 weeks fully entrenched in the house there and parents are loving it, to be honest with you. We got a lot of young families, and Kenny Ritson, one of our billet fathers, they have 3 kids under the age of 4, and it's a lovely break when Ethan Smith takes their kids for a bit and gives mom and dad a bit of a break. I know
That works out good for the kids, actually building that bit of responsibility at the same time and thinking, this is just going to be a billet house, but all of a sudden, wait a sec, I got to act like big brother a little bit here and help out mom and dad, so to speak, away from home.
Yeah, and I've seen it before in Thief River. These kids, my favorite billet families are kind of those young families with young kids kind of coming up in hockey. You instantly bring in a good role model and a superhero into your house for your kids. You know what I mean? If we kind of have a rule where our staff doesn't take billets and stuff like that. The GM doesn't take billets. If I got a young 2-year-old he's out in the back rink right now, but he doesn't want to skate with me. He'd rather skate with one of our players. So I'd take one in for sure. We do a really good job bringing in the right kids here. Unfortunately, we lost 3 or 4 of our big recruits early. They chose to live by their own rules. And that's one thing I assure billets and I assure college coaches down the road is the kids that play for myself, Matt Valley, and our coaching staff are kids that you want living in your house and you want to come to your university for 4 years.
Absolutely. Let's talk about the games that were able to be played in the first half of the season in the fall, the 4 exhibition and the 4 regular season, all against the same team, Kevin. Would you say a little bit of a rivalry has ensued since then? I mean, we talk about the local shops around town, and do you see North Star's colors on one side of the bench and you see the Kam River Fighting Walleye and having those discussions when you walk around town? And how healthy is that to have that rivalry starting between a team that's been around almost 20 years and a first-year team?
It was a lot of fun, right? I mean, altercations aren't allowed to happen, currently, and that's fine. The game's been great. A little bit different without contact and everything, because I'm sure us and the North Stars may have got ugly once or twice. The 4 exhibition games, they were what they were, exhibition games. Matt was trying his lineup. We're an expansion team. We're moving guys up and down the lineup at I had people coming up to me, you guys must be panicking, you're 0-4. The exhibition games. We've never seen our lineup play. So that's what we treated them as. I mean, great. The Teleco Cup. Teleco is a great sponsor of ours. They done up a little trophy and everything. And, in my experience is for exhibition games, you kind of run everyone through the lineup, see where we're at. Goalies kind of come back and forth. Due to the pandemic, we didn't have extra goalies to give a game to, so we went back and forth between Madge and Vanska. And then the regular season started. Matt started our lineup, and we went after him. So we ended up 3-1 to start the season. That's great. They have a really good team over there. A lot of veterans. They skate well. Nicholas Campbell and is arguably, and obviously having Campbell and Stubbs in their lineup. Those are unbelievable players. I know they have another defenseman from the OHL. He's Halashak, nice defenseman to have. We were overall happy with the effort of our guys. We're young. We still had, at the end of the day, 16, 17 guys playing their first junior A hockey game when the regular season started. So at no point was I disappointed in our exhibition games, in our effort, and I was not disappointed in our 4 games that started the season for us. And as far as the rivalry is concerned, yeah, it started already. Let's be honest, they don't like us.
We don't like them.
We don't like them. On a business side, the ownership, they got to work together for the betterment of the SIJHL. Our coaching staff wants to beat their coaching staff. Our players, I know they're not mixing up. They're not hanging out together in Thunder Bay. I know that much. And then with the pandemic, we had, some of our sponsors, Boston Pizza, Naming Roadhouse, Stanley Hotel, broadcasting our games. And apparently an altercation broke out at Boston Pizza between North Star fans and Kam River Fighting Walleye signs. Yeah, so that was after the first or second game, and I'm like, who likes us so much that much to already willing to fight in an establishment for us? So I don't know how. I know there's some truth to it. I don't know how it took off or what happened, but to be stopped every day in the community. Oliver Papoonge has been great. Our sponsors and Oliver Papoonge have been great. Seeing fans that were North Star fans for 16 to 20 years start walking around town with Kam River Fighting Walleye stuff on we're doing something right here in the community, and that's what it's about. So I feel for our kids. We'd be selling out our arena right now in Oliver Papoonge. That's we're a 1,200 seat barn, and it's really small and tight. Our president decided Derek Geddes decided to put a movie theater screen outside of our arena for our home opener. We had over 100 cars up watching. They could buy popcorn for $1 and a pop, or they could have brought their own adult beverages in their vehicle and watch the game up on the big screen. And that I've had nothing but rave reviews for that, with people coming up to me asking me when are we having another movie night. People were driving by, they seen 60-foot screen, they're pulling in, watching hockey. So we're changing it. We're doing our best we can with the pandemic, and it's been great.
That's a great opportunity to get fan support when you can't have, obviously, fans in the stands, Kevin, and great for Derek to put that together. I certainly missed the outdoor drive-in theater, yet alone watching live hockey. For the boys that were playing, he said it's a younger team. Last time we talked, the conversation was leading towards the concentration or the belief that you're going to have a fast team, a hard team to catch. Obviously making mistakes, but learning fast and building that chemistry. You didn't show your aces, obviously, in your exhibition games because you were still figuring it out, but has Matt been able to really put together some decent chemistry in the first 4 games with this team?
Matt and our coaching staff have done an amazing job. Excuse me. We're about 80% into our dress room build. The horizon's right there to get the guys into the dress room. But none of the teams have been able to dress in the dress room. So that element of junior hockey where, you show up to practice an hour and a half early, putz around, then you stay for 2 hours, get on the trainer's nerves and just be a part of the room and part of the element of the arena. We haven't had that piece. And that was my favorite piece of being a player, when I was a trainer, when I was a coach, as an owner, as a general manager, is that just the guys hanging out in the arena doing their thing, right? We have a dress room that's going to be second to none. It's going to be the nicest, arguably one of the nicest rooms in junior hockey. So it's the coaching staff really had to do that chemistry deal, and much of that we've had a few team building, but a lot of it on the ice, right? And along as we go, no one has a roadmap for this, right? all of a sudden you can't have your players for 2 weeks. There's no book. There's no experience for this. So Matt is tough. Matt likes a structured, down the train tracks one way. But when you got stuff coming at you all over the place, it's tough. I hand it to Matt being a first-year junior A head coach, and then this thrown on us. New program, new coach, 25 new players. For him to handle this and handle it like a pro, and we're having success on the ice already. Makes life a
Make it
little bit
sound good.
easier. Yeah,
how's the elder statesman, the assistant coach? I forget his name. Is he still with the
Doug Colbin? Yeah, no, he's
is
been
Doug?
great.
How's Dougie keeping Matt in check? I mean, Matt's probably had some days where and I'm sure Doug's probably been able to steer him in the right direction.
Well, I'll say it. I've said it once and I'll say it again. We have one of the best staffs in junior hockey. You got a guy like Doug Colbin, assistant Matt. You got Henner, Butsy, and Rico. Rico, he is arguably the best goalie coach I've seen in all of Canada. And to have that kind of staff come on and want to be on board, it's been unbelievable. Colby's kind of had to throw water on Matt a few times to bring him back, right? It's exciting when I remember coaching my first junior A game. My emotions are everywhere. Everything's going crazy. But Matt's been a pro. Our assistant coaches, we tried to do everything right here with Kam River. We have a full-time trainer. We wanted a full-time coach. With the pandemic, Matt came to us, said, "Hey, listen, I'm gonna teach and coach just the way the schedule was." It worked out for him. Bringing on a full-time trainer like Bulldog. Here's a guy that we're going to lose in a year or two to the Western Hockey League. So, and that's what I think we're about. I want my coaches to move on. I want my equipment guys to move on, my players. And I believe we're a developmental league, and that's what we're here for.
Awesome. Kevin, stay with us. We're going to come right back. We'll take a quick break here on the ice. We're going to talk about the future, the near future here, because if my memory serves me right, you said the players had to be back by the 28th. We're almost ending that 14-day period, so hopefully we can talk about what's in store January, February here on the ice. Back here on the ice with Kevin McCallum, joining me from the Kam River Fighting Walleye. Kevin, I got to ask this question. It's been very difficult navigating without a roadmap, like you said. What have we learned from the first half of the season that we can take into this upcoming half of the season, if there's going to be one, for the SI and the teams that are involved?
Don't make plans. You know what I mean? We move forward with a schedule. We got really lucky, obviously, getting out of the gate playing the North Stars 4 exhibition, which initially were rolled out as 8 exhibition games, and all of a sudden they were 4. We got 5 days to say, hey, these are regular season games. So it just things are going quick, and then Darren Nicholas, our commissioner, did a really good job bringing in the Thunder Bay Kings, U18, U16, as well as the Kenora Thistles to fill in the gap for the 5th team of our league, so we didn't have a 28-day reset. Obviously, coming back from the break here, our guys came back to 28th, tested on the 29th. Tests rolled back 4 or 5 days later. We had our quarantine in place. And then we get the news, 2 days ago that it's, we're preparing to be back on the ice today, Saturday. And now it's 2 more weeks, right? So, what do you do? I really, like I said before earlier in the interview, like these kids, to be from Calgary, BC, all over Western Canada, to be sitting at your billets for 2 weeks is pretty tough. You know what I mean? They came here to play hockey, be hockey players, move on in their careers, and to be, finally we're going to be playing next week, to back to, working out on your own, get into the outdoor rinks, little bit of video games, hanging out with your billet brothers and sisters. It's tough.
Yeah. What has the team been able to do as a team under these conditions that have been handed down from Ontario Health?
Well, depending on the size of the gatherings, right? We try and do stuff at the outdoor rinks. We've had team get-togethers early. Just when restrictions started coming to loosen up, even before we started the season, we had team softball games. We had, little pizza get-togethers, little stuff. Because I said earlier, not having our dressing room, not being allowed to stay in a dressing room, to have that time to, even when I walk now into the dressing room, we still don't have that, that cohesiveness that I've always been used to, right? Like these guys we haven't spent much time together on that. We haven't been on a bus. We haven't, spent 10 hours in the dressing room together or 8 hours on a bus going to Thief River or Red Lake. And that's where you develop those relationships, right? And you become family. And that's what I truly believe we miss a little bit of that right now. And, once our dressing room's done, if we're able to keep rolling here, we'll see this group grow together. And when they come back for next season, it's gonna be a group of guys that are gonna turn some heads in junior hockey.
Isn't it exciting to see? I mean, amidst everything that's going on, Kevin, and the lack of opportunity to bond and build a chemistry with these players, coaches, and the community, it's got to be exciting to see that this is only a tip of the iceberg, so to speak, seeing that, how great the community is loving the walleye, the rivalry is there, but also how much support that has been given from the administrative staff, the coaching staff, to the players. I mean, everything involved, all wheels turning. Once this thing really starts firing up, it's going to start gaining some steam pretty quickly.
Well, Oliver Papoonj, the fan base out there. I spend a lot of time out at the arena. Everyone I run into, they've had interaction with our players. They can't believe how great our players are. It's businesses. We have businesses. Not too often I've worked in junior hockey where businesses were calling us to get involved. And that's with having a sales team out there doing all the sales. We have 2 or 3 businesses that are, hey, I see what you guys are doing in the community. I want to be involved. How can I have my business associated with you guys? When Derek and the program hosted that big screen night, I had 3 or 4 businesses, guys that own businesses in Thunder Bay, call me and say, we are proud to be involved with Kam River Fighting Walleye, with what you're doing for our community. I had a lady email me. She brought her sons to the outdoor rink. There was a group of kids out there that wouldn't let these kids on the ice while 7 walleye showed up. They took half the ice, took these kids under their wing and played outdoor, hockey with these kids for 2 hours. And what happened there is we just gained 2 parents and 2 kids, fans for life. And those kids, I got the mother, I know a little bit. She messaged me and she said these kids haven't stopped talking about playing hockey with your boys all night. And that's what we're trying to create in the community. The kids that I've had come in and didn't want to, be a part of the community, or they were here for their own reasons. They've been moved on to other programs, and I wish them well. But you're not going to be a Kam River Fighting Walleye very long if you're not in the community and being involved. And even when our contractor needs help at the arena, I put a text message into our team chat. I have 5 players show up. Volunteer right away, help them move stuff because they want to get in the dressing room just as bad as we want to be in the dressing room. Our fan base, I know the township has talked about already putting an extension on the arena. Not too often, at our level, do you get a municipality that's so excited to have us that they're willing to potentially add seats to the arena, allow us to come up with these crazy ideas, right? When we had the big screen night, their council wrote it off, no problem. Well, then someone said, why don't we have fireworks that night too? So the fire chief, he came, signed it over. He just said, just be safe. Let's put on a show here. And that's one thing. Derek Geddes, our president, he's unbelievable on operating the business and the excitement side. And, we have a really good team there of a lot of different backgrounds and experience, and they all work really well together, filter up ideas, and then Derek and his staff execute this stuff. Who would have thought putting a 60-foot TV outside the arena was a good idea, and then boom, it's packed back there, right? So, and that's the stuff that's creating the excitement, and I'm left with win hockey games and having a team that works hard. Our community all over Papoons works hard. It's our agricultural community. It's a lot of our contractors are out there. It's a hardworking community. They want a hardworking team, and they're going to support you if they see you in the community and working hard.
You're making great lasting impressions, Kevin, from the stories you just told. It's truly amazing what you can do for young kids that are into the sport and just taking them under your wing, so to speak. It's absolutely amazing. I see it here on the outdoor rinks when we have a chance to get in. You talked earlier about not planning anything. Are there any plans that you can tell us with regards to upcoming after these 2 weeks? Will there be some games set up? Do we see a second half of a regular season? Are we going to be talking to you next month to say you were going to be back in 2 more weeks? Who knows? Any type of news you can give us on that?
I know I called our commissioner, Darren Nicholas, probably 2 days ago when we got the announcement. I actually texted him. I said, hey, I know your head's probably spinning right now. Him and I have a really good relationship. Here's a guy who, left the Thunder Bay Kings AAA program as a coach to take on a new venture during a global pandemic and, just kind of inherited 7 teams, 5 are allowed to play. Then you got, you know what I mean? Like what he's gone through is unbelievable. And for him his resiliency to actually give him the opportunity when we're back, if we're ever back to a normal life and we have all the teams in the league, and to see what he's going to do with this league is going to be unbelievable. All I can say is I know we're down for 14 days. We're looking at the wording. How about the outdoor rinks? Can we have 10 guys go for a skate, then 10 more guys? Like, we're trying to the last thing we want to do is be a part of the reason why we take a step back. So if we're allowed to have 5 guys skate together, 10 guys, whatever the deal is, we're going to make it happen. If we're not allowed, then we'll follow the rules and keep moving forward. Because that's one thing we've been very thorough with our players, letting them know, let's not be the reason we're not playing. Everything else is out of our control, but let's not have a team party or do something to jeopardize what we're trying to accomplish here, and that's just play. So our guys, they've been really good. I know there's other teams, I won't mention in leagues or whatever, but that hadn't followed the rules, and they became part of the reason why we're not playing. You know what I mean? And our guys, knock on wood, we haven't had any tests. I shut us down probably a month and a half ago. We had a couple guys that had cold-like symptoms, which has always ran through every team I've been through. I shut it down instantly. All the guys that were feeling under the weather, they went and got tested. We were good. We moved forward. You know what I mean? So it cost us, I think it was 6-7 days, making sure guys were safe to come back. Some guys were held off longer, but as far as a group was concerned, we were and that's something you don't plan for, right? You expect to have 5-6 practices. Matt and the coaching staff have stuff to work on. All of a sudden, boom, that's off the table. So here you go, Matt. Now you have 3 days to work on your games for our regular season. So that's what I mean. Like, just running. We're just all running along here, and new things are getting thrown at us, right? And I can't say that enough.
To say that we expected this to happen this long is unfathomable. But at the same time, having a 3-1 record in your regular season, Kevin, it's got to be pretty awesome feeling for you guys, considering it's your first year and what you've been able to overcome here in this 6-month period.
Yeah, it was unbelievable, right? It's like I said earlier, exhibition games are exhibition games, and then when it became regular season, Matt tightened the belt, so to speak, and went after him with our A lineup and the way Matt wanted his lines to go, how he's going to coach. He was doing a lot of learning himself in his first 4 games. And then, obviously this week coming up, we're supposed to play Dryden. Dryden's always tough. They're big. They play a really strong game. They work hard for Kurt. That's one thing I'll always give Dryden. They've been in the league since the start, and they've always had a team that brought the lunch pail, and they work hard, and they, mix in some skill guys. Red Lake, Jeff up there has a really good young team. I think It's going to be fun playing against them. It's going to be fast, exciting hockey. Fort Francis, with the coaching changes they had with Wayne stepping out and new coaches, and then some new coaching coming. They got a really good roster over there. It's just, I think once they get settled, and they need some games to get going too, right? They played against Kenora Thistles, I believe, 5 or 6 times. So they just need some junior A work against them. Yeah. So it's going to come.
It'll, and I think this year, I'm not gonna say once it's all said and done, we're gonna look back and say, wow, we actually got through this all. But just to see the maturity of the players in different ways that we wouldn't have normally seen will be one of the true telltale signs of seeing how we've been tested and how we've been able to overcome certain parameters. Kevin, I got to ask you this last question. I know you're sporting the swag. I like what I see and wearing the sweater wise. How's it been? Did you have to do version 2.0 yet, or 3.0, or are we still sitting on the goods?
No, we Valley Foods out in Murillo, which is part of our Oliver Papoon's conglomerate out there, Sport Tot. They've been selling out like crazy. It's one of those things, right? Do you bring in 100 sweaters? Do you bring 200 in? What if I don't sell? And they've been going crazy. I spend a lot of time in our community all over Papoonj, and seeing the shirts and the hats and the jerseys. It's fun, everyone loves, everyone loves our name. Everyone loves, the Fighting Walleye, everything our promotional team has done, our ownership group. It still has that excitement around it. I really hope we can get through what we're trying to get through here. And by the time we get to September, we're just back to, having a camp, building a team, 7 teams in the league, and if you would ask me in March, would we be still going through this last year? I'd say no. But I also can't say we can't be going through it in September, because nobody knows.
There you go.
And these kids, I really feel bad for our 20-year-olds who are trying to get to colleges, and some of those colleges now are allowed to keep guys for an extra season.
Right.
So the recruiting, a school that usually takes 7 guys might only be taking 2 guys, right? So it's been really a real challenge navigating that for our handful of 20-year-olds that have asked me they want to play college hockey. And so, and that's what we're here for, right, is move on those 3-4 guys that I told if they came to play for us, we'll get them a school. And each guy has 5 or 6 schools they're looking at. There's 2 or 3 other guys looking at committing right here soon. So to do that in a global pandemic under a handful of games, that's all we're about. You know what I mean? Get those kids off to college, and we're a stepping stone for them, and that's what we're
making lasting impressions and progressions for those older guys. Kevin, is there anything you want to mention before we say goodbye?
No, always a pleasure to be with you. Look forward to seeing, like you said, tip of the iceberg. And that's where we're not going to be able to spread our wings until we're allowed to have fans in the arena, and it's. When we were held to 50 fans, my dad, who's been around the SIJHL for 21 years, he wasn't even allowed in the rink, you know what I mean? And that was tough. I can't wait till we can just have fans, and away we go. And it's going to be fun the next couple of years here against, you keep mentioning the rivalry with us and the North Stars. We're going to battle at each other for many years. I look forward to the day. I hope it happens that we're both in the Bill Salona Cup finals and really see an exciting series. And
yeah.
And at the end of the day, we all work together in this league, and it's going in the right direction. Once we get our American partners back, it's going to be exciting.
General Manager of the Fighting Walleye, Kevin McCallum, thanks so much for joining me. It's always great to catch up with you as well. Stay well in Oliver Papoonj. I'm not going to mention the T-Bay, but I guess we'll stay well in T-Bay. But Oliver Papoonj, take care of yourselves. Thanks for supporting this team. I know it's only a bitter glimpse of what's upcoming in the near future, and I look forward to seeing how this story continues to grow and how this team continues to build and provide footprints and footsteps for younger kids as the years go on. Thanks, Kevin, very much. Really appreciate your time.
Thanks for your support, Theo. Always a pleasure.
Great. This has been On the Ice here on Amateur Sports TV. Make sure you check us out on all our social media pages, and always keep us up to date with our mentions of what's going on in every league here in Canada with Return to Play. Thanks for watching. Have a great rest of the evening, and take care. Bye-bye.